All right.
Do it right, feel well, real life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. He's your host.
All right, my beautiful people, this is ERGJ, a certified financial educator, coming back to you with New Black Wall Street, Money and Power. We're going to be talking about what's going on in politics and the economy today. Of course, this is Trumponomics Day number 6. And I'll also be providing a little bit of information for you as far as where we are going. First, I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of announcements for you. Tonight, we have our investment session that's going to be talking about Sprint and the Tidal. And Tidal, which is Jay-Z's music streaming service. Of course, Sprint bought 33% stake into that company. We'll be talking about what that's going to do for Sprint stock. Also, next week on Tuesday, we're going to be having our marijuana session. That's right, 420 weed, cannabis. So if you've been interested in that sector, you want to join us for that conversation as we talk about potential investment opportunities in the marijuana sector. And then also we got coming up a couple of classes. We got Stock Market 101 coming up. That's going to be your 7-step guide to owning your first stock. That's a beginner's class. We also got an introduction to Forex coming as well. And then also on Monday, we have our interview with Punch TV Studios CEO Joseph Collins. So for those that have heard about Punch TV Studios and that IPO, we're going to be having an interview with him. So you can ask all your questions there. So you can find all of that information on www.ergj.net. That's where you can go to register, to get signed up, to make sure that you get your seat at the kitchen table. And then later on, we'll talk a little bit about Club Millie and what we got going on there. It's a new launch of a plan that we have coming out. But let's go ahead and get started and talk about what's going on in the news, in the economy itself. Real quick. So the Dow Jones really pretty steady. Today was only up 32 points, 0.16%. The NASDAQ was down 1.16 points, and S&P 500 was down 1.69 points. Some big winners of the day. United Rentals, they were up 11%. Royal Caribbean was up 9%. Southwest Airlines was up 9%. And Sherwin-Williams was up 7%. And Charter Communications was up 7%. So all 5 of these companies, most of them had earnings they reported today, and they did very well with their earnings. So those that been trading on day trading or doing some options, if you guessed right, you probably made some good money today. The losers today, Mattel had a horrible time today. They were down 17%. Of course, Mattel is does the toys, the number 2 or number 1 toy maker in the United States. A very bad day for them. They had a bad showing of earnings over the last quarter. They didn't sell as much stuff during the holiday season as anticipated, so their shares plummeted today 17%. That is a big drop. Whirlpool was down 8%. McKesson was down 8%. And F5 Networks 8%. And Helmerich and Payne was down 7%. I don't know what those last two are, but they were down as well. As far as your leading sectors over the past 3 months, transportation has been up 22%. Finance sector has been up 16%. Communications has been up 13%. And consumer durables just hit double digits today, up 11% over the past 3 months. Electronic technology up 10%. And health services up 10%. These are all sectors that have been performing well over the past 3 months. So you just think about that. Say, hey, I've been invested in transportation over the last 3 months, and I'm up 22%. Or you should be getting close to that number based on where you put your money at. As far as our commodities is concerned, oil is only up 0.9% today. Still some fluctuations as far as where it's going to go, where it's going to head. Gasoline is down 0.5%. Gold was down 0.9%. Silver was down 0.27%. A very flat day for the market itself. And we'll talk about currency in just a minute because the Mexican peso, oh my goodness, plummeted. So since this morning, when we talked about this morning, the emotion that's driving the market, or the volatility index, it was at 65 this morning. It's actually down to 58. So it was a little bit more selling in the market today. Probably some people that were kind of taking some profits from finally breaking 20,000 points. That could be the case as well. And we're still waiting to hear a few things in the market also. All right. So now let's take a look at a few different sectors that might be interesting to you. So the United States, new homes, they saw some sales fall in the weekly jobless claims rose. So new U.S. single-family homes sales fell to a 10-month low in December after 3 straight months of solid gains. But the housing market recovery remains intact as a tightening labor market boosts wage growth. While other data on Thursday showed a bigger than expected increase in the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits last week, the 4-week moving average of claims dropped to levels last seen in 1973. So the home sales are starting to slow. It may have a lot to do with, you saw them repeal the reduction of the PMI. So maybe some deals are going off the table because of that. That just recently happened, though. Not quite sure what happened with in December, but a 10-month low is pretty bad. So the housing, the residential single-family housing, it may be more difficult trying to find some buyers that can get approved for loans. That may be what's happening there. I'm not quite sure. But I thought that was interesting news that you might want to know as far as what happened today. Wall Street, again, was a little change after a 2-day rally. In technology, Intel, they reported they had a 9.8% rise in their quarterly revenue. Microsoft. Now, I'm going to talk to you about – I'm going to come back to this in a second. I'm going to come back to Microsoft. I'm going to talk about it right now. So here's the deal. We got, for those that don't know, we have the Club Millie plan that's rolling out and it's launching, and that's going to be where we're going to help 1,000 people to save and invest $1,000 in 2017. And what we, along with that, is that when you get that membership, you actually get invited to a private group where we actually discuss a lot of savings techniques, investing techniques, and also stocks and buying opportunities, things like that. But you also start to get a little information to maybe give you some insight as to where the market is going. So, for example, Microsoft, they continue to invest over $1 billion a year on cybersecurity. So where, I'm providing that information for you today so that you can have it straight off the press. That kind of gives us some insight as to if Microsoft is spending their money over here, and then obviously with the whole thing with Russia hacking and all this stuff, cybersecurity may be a place that we want to be looking at as far as our investment dollars as well. They're investing $1 billion a year. But these are the kind of tips that you're going to get in our private group. I'm going to go ahead and give you that one today for free. But pretty soon, I'm just going to be making sure that I provide that information to those who are in the group and in a part of the team, because we are going to be working together. Now, getting back to commodities, oil was up 2% on the stock market, but U.S. supply cap gains. Aluminum is a dangerous dependency on China's smelter sector. That was from coming from Andy Holmes. Some deals that are taking place right now. Johnson & Johnson actually refills drug cabinet with a $30 billion deal with Actelion, which is a Switzerland company. Walgreens is working to finalize a Rite Aid deal, and it has to clear antitrust hurdles. So Walgreens is trying to buy out Rite Aid. I think that's a good move. And also, the top coconut water maker, Vita Coco, is exploring a sale. So this is a hot off the press as well. So we're going to see who's going to bite on Vita Coco. I don't know if you guys drink coconut water. If you do, you probably do drink the Vita Coco. Now, I don't think that Coca-Cola would be doing that because they already have a coconut water, but I guess another brand would be good for them. So here's what happens, guys. These brands, they create this brand, and they ramp up and they get big and they get better. And then a company will buy them out, buy the rights in order to buy into the company to distribute for them as well. And it becomes part of that company's brand. So there's a lot of companies underneath Coca-Cola that you probably don't know, are a Coca-Cola brand, even though they're not necessarily making it, or maybe they're probably just bottling, but they normally are distributing, and it becomes part of the Coca-Cola family. So Vita Coco, and so basically profits and all that stuff go through Coca-Cola well. But Vita Coco, the world's leading brand of coconut water, is exploring a sale of the company that could value it up to $1 billion. A company whose investors include celebrities like Madonna and Matthew McConaughey has hired JP Morgan to advise it on the sale, 3 sources have said. Any sale of U.S.-based Vita Coco will come as a traditional fizzy drink sale. Will come as traditional fizzy sales, drink sales continue to slow, and consumers increasingly turn to healthier drinks like coconut water. The business could attract interest from beverage companies such as Pepsi, Coca-Cola, or Dr. Pepper Snapple, which late last year paid $1.7 billion for antioxidant drink maker Buy Brands. PepsiCo and Coke are already the number 2 and number 3 producers of coconut water. So it'll be interesting to see who might be interested in buying Vita Coco. All right, what else is going on in the news here? So Microsoft, they just reported their earnings. Microsoft's quarterly profit rose 3.6%. Google just reported their earnings. Google or Alphabet quarterly revenue rose 22%. So people were waiting for this. Again, we talked about this morning. People who are following Google, let's take a look and see what happened with Google once they reported their earnings, because I'm pretty sure their stock is rising in the aftermarket. And I talked about this morning. It was down at the end of, it was down 2% for the day, but let's see what's happening. Oh, hold on. Let me go to another screen here. Did they have some bad guidance? Interesting to see what's going on with Google here. Trump wants to tax imports to pay for the wall. Oh my goodness, we're gonna talk about Trump in just a second. Money and power. Give me just a second, guys. Trying to see what's going on with Google in the aftermarket. They just reported their earnings. That's the big earnings of the day here. All right, so Google is actually down. They were down 3% to end the day, and they're down 15. Not 3%, $3, and they're down $15 in the aftermarket. So we actually need to go and listen to or read up. Let me go and read and see what they said. Maybe they had some bad guidance. They're up 22% in their revenue, quarterly revenue rose. But what else did they say? Let's take a look at here and see what's going on. Oh, okay. So the quarterly revenue misses the estimates, but shares fall. So let's see. Google parent Alphabet Incorporated posted 4-quarter profits below analyst estimates on Thursday. Syndicate shares down more than 2.7% in the aftermarket. The company, however, posted a stronger than better 22.2% increase in quarterly revenue as advertisers spent more to reach an expanding user base that spends even more time on smartphones and on YouTube. Google ad revenue, which accounts for the bulk of its business, rose 17.4% to $22.4 billion in the fourth quarter. Wow. Researcher firm eMarketer has estimated that Google will capture $60.92 billion in search ad revenue this year, or 58.8% of the search ad market worldwide. Look at that. Google's going to capture more than almost 60% of search ad market revenue worldwide. Oh my goodness, this is a huge company. Paid clicks or clicks on Google ads rose 36% compared to with the 33% increase in the third quarter. Paid clicks on those are those ads on which the advertiser pays only if a user clicks on them. So here's what I'm looking at with Google. They may be down in the aftermarket, but they still are a wonderful company that's going to continue to make profits. So this dip that we're seeing in the aftermarket for Google may be opening up a buying opportunity for those that have been following Google and still believe in this wonderful, great company that continues to make caboodles of dollars. So it may be opening up a buying opportunity for those that are interested in Google to play it on the rebound. And that could be long term, that could be short term. What else? PayPal reported four-quarter earnings at 32 cents per share. Starbucks had a bad cafe sales disappoint. So let's take a look at Starbucks. That was another one that just reported. They reported a smaller than expected rise in quarterly sales as established restaurants in the United States dominated American regions amid a persistent restaurant slump. So let's take a look and see what's going on with Starbucks and their earnings. Oh my goodness! I mean, in their stock. I'm sorry. What's going on, Rolando? How are you, man? Oh, you go. While that's loading up, let's see if there's anything else. PayPal. That looks like it's it. We covered all that. All right, so now let's take a look at what's going on in politics. What's going on with Mr. Trump? What did he do today? Let's take a look at SBucks and see if they are slumping. Yeah, they're down $1.89 in the $1.89 in the aftermarket, down 3% in the aftermarket. Their earnings were not favorable to investors. All right, so let's see what's going on. That's our money part. So again, when I tell you guys that money and power, money and politics, or economics and politics, they go kind of hand in hand. You got money, which rules the world, but you got politics, which drives the legislation of the money itself. So as far as what's going on in politics, of course, with Trump and his 6th day in office, President Trump may want to pay for his proposed southern border wall by slapping a 20% tax on imports from Mexico. In case you don't know what happened with Mexico, Mexico said that they weren't going to meet with Trump because I don't know why. I have to go to that store, but they're not going to meet. They're not going to meet with them. And so now Trump is talking about 20% tax on them. And guess what that did? That drove the Mexican peso down. So for those that are in foreign exchange, you probably, again, that's a place, the Mexican peso is easy to make money on. You just short it. Really pretty simple because it's not looking good for Mexico. But White House spokesman Sean Spicer says Trump has discussed the idea with congressional leaders and wants to include the measure in a comprehensive tax reform package. Spicer spoke to reporters on Air Force One as Trump flew back from a Republican retreat in Philadelphia. He says that taxing imports from Mexico would generate $10 billion a year and easily pay for the wall. So if they don't want to pay for the wall, he's going to tax them to pay for the wall. And somebody else said, hey, they want to try to play hardball. Here's the deal, man. You either want to do it our way, quote unquote, or you're going to do it the hard way. I think that's kind of what Trump administration is saying. Do it my way or do it the hard way. And the hard way is paying a tax. And of course, again, what happens when you tax export or imports, that's not necessarily good for Mexico, but it's not necessarily good for us either. Yeah, maybe some import, may generate dollars from a tax perspective, but that means who's going to really pay that tax? It won't necessarily be Mexico. It's going to be the people that are buying those products from Mexico. So it's going to be interesting how this goes. Spicer says discussions are continuing with lawmakers to make sure the plan is done right, but he said it clearly provides funding for the wall. So they are serious about this wall. President Trump also, what's next? Chief White House strategist says that the media should keep its mouth shut. In an interview with New York Times published Thursday, Bannon said that the media is the opposition party and of the new administration and should be embarrassed and humiliated by the unanticipated election result. The article cites Bannon as referring to himself at one point as Darth Vader, as if it was concerned that Press Secretary Sean Spicer lost credibility after a forceful opening press conference peppered with false information. Bannon replied, "We think that's a badge of honor." He adds, the media has zero integrity, zero intelligence, and no hard work. Now, here's the interesting thing that's going on here for me, because the media itself, hey, what's going on, Anthony Burton? Yeah, we the ones paying for it. What's going on with the media for me is that I don't think it's been any, they hardly ever do any type of real journalism. You know, they get a story, they run with it, and they get everybody up in the rile, especially the national media, the mass media, because they're trying to get information out to the people so quickly that they don't do their due diligence with the stuff that they put out. And so, on one hand, it's comical, but the reality is what they're pressing, what they are charging the media with, to me, is not like they're telling a lie. I mean, you know, do the media? You can find so many holes in media story because they don't even take the time to have integrity with the stuff that they put out, especially, again, when you talk about CNN, who's trying to get a story together and put it out in 5 minutes. You know, how much time did you really have to really investigate the story that you're putting out? But at any rate, also, Vice President Mike Pence is offering Republican lawmakers a preview of the upcoming Supreme Court pick. He says President Trump will nominate a strict constructionist to the High Court. Pence is speaking to House and Senate representatives at a retreat in Philadelphia. He notes Trump plans to announce the Supreme Court pick next week and says he can already tip you off. Pence says that the choice will be a strict constructionist or a jurist who supports a narrow reading of the United States Constitution. Vice President says the choice will have a top-notch legal mind and a commitment to the Constitution. United Nations hopes that any measures President Trump takes on refugees are temporary, citing United States leadership in resettling people forced to flee their homes. The UN spokesman Stephanie Dujarric told reporters Thursday that taking in refugees is especially important when the world has seen the largest movement of migrants since World War II. He said it's a basic principle of the United Nations that refugees need solidarity and need help. And at this time, there's never been a greater need for their protection. A draft executive order obtained by the Associated Press shows Trump intends to stop accepting Syrian refugees and to suspend the United States' broader refugee program for 120 days. According to the UN, refugees total nearly 21.3 million, half of them under the age of 18. And here's the news on Mexico. President Donald Trump is claiming that he and Mexican President Enrique Peña agreed jointly to cancel their planned meeting over disagreements about who will pay for the wall. Trump says during the Republican House and Senate retreat in Philadelphia that the president of Mexico and myself have agreed to cancel our planned scheduled meeting for next week. Trump says that unless Mexico is going to treat the United States fairly with respect, such a meeting will be fruitless. And I want to go a different route. I have no choice. And that different route is going to be taxing Mexico, taxing their imports. A poor country being taxed more. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said earlier Thursday that the administration would be looking to reschedule the meeting in the future and would keep the lines of communication open. So that's kind of what's going on. Some other stuff here, but one other thing, Republicans Veterans Affairs panel chairman are calling on Donald Trump to clarify whether his federal hiring freeze applies to veterans health care. In a letter Thursday, Senator Johnny Isakson and Republican Representative Phil Rowe note that more than 6 million veterans rely on VA care. They say Trump's lack of clarity could hamper the VA's ability to recruit high-quality clinicians to meet veterans' immediate health care needs. The freeze has stirred concern about some organizations that question Trump's commitment to veterans. Acting VA Secretary Robert Snyder says the department intends to hire anyone necessary for public safety, including frontline caregivers. But the White House has yet to say whether it agrees. Trump issued an order Monday, and the White House has said the freeze applied to the VA. A hiring freeze, oh my goodness, what is going on here? So at the end of the day, guys, that's what's going on in politics. That's what's going on in money and economy, economics. Again, Alphabet's having still made a lot of profit, but they didn't meet expectations. So we see them down a little bit in the aftermarket. Starbucks is down in the aftermarket. Mattel was down all day. So that's what's going on there. And here's the deal. Again, we got a session tonight that's going to be talking about Sprint. We got a session coming up next week talking about marijuana. These are investment sessions. And here's the deal. Somebody said, when I started investing, I didn't know where to go, right? I didn't know where to go to get information. I didn't know where to go to have conversations. That's why we've created this forum, this place where you can actually come and have these conversations and start talking about money and getting involved in the conversation. It's your decision to join the table, but we're giving you access to the table itself so you can show up at anything that you like, anything that fits your fancy. So we got sessions, we got classes, and we also have this, we're rolling out a plan for Club Millie, which is going to help 1,000 people save and invest $1,000 in 2017. So if you're interested in that, we got you have an opportunity to come to a meeting that we're going to have. We're going to roll out the plan, and some people are already signing up, so you can do that as well. That's at www.ergj.net. If you're interested in signing up, just go ahead and click the membership account and go ahead and get your membership. Now, here's what comes with the membership. All these sessions that we do, the investment session, we did an oil session last week. We did a technology session. We did an oil session 2 weeks ago. We did a technology session a couple days ago. Yeah, on Tuesday we talked about Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. And we're going to be talking about Sprint tonight. We're going to be talking about marijuana next week. Sessions like that are included. So here's the deal. It's tonight at 9. So here's the deal. So instead of you paying $10, $15 every time you want to come to a session, the membership is only $20 a month. So $20 a month, you can come to any session that is available when we have them. Now, here's some other things that we have coming down the pipe that we do. We have the classes, like the Stock Market 101 class. It's $50 for you to attend. Well, if you get a membership, then you're going to pay half price for the classes. We got an introduction to Forex coming. We got penny stock classes coming up. We got other stuff outside of the stock market as well that we offer. So last year we did a class that was how to start your own beauty supply store. So imagine you're able to get that class and pennies on a dollar, or talking about life insurance and how to protect your wealth. So we got a lot of things that are coming down the pipe, and a lot of things that we've done already in the past, which we're going to continue to move forward in this future. So we talked about how to buy a hotel. I mean, we've had all types of stuff. This is not something that's just getting started. This is something that we've done over a couple of years, and we've found something that we want to bring to the village. But the only way you really have access, man, is for you to come and join the party. So, Lewis, if you want to click on the link, www.erdj.net, when you go to the website, if you just want to come to a meeting or a session tonight, you can just scroll. I'll actually send it to you, but you scroll down to events and classes, and then and you actually only have 1 more hour to sign up for the sprint thing if you want to do that. Events and classes, and then all of the sessions that are scheduled, the next 5 are down there. We got all of them scheduled, but you're only going to see the next 5. We got the, again, the sprint title session tonight, marijuana next Tuesday. We got the meeting with Joseph Collins, Punch TV Studios IPO, that $1 IPO that you hear a lot on the radio. Well, we got him coming to interview and answer your questions. So if you got questions, it's free to go to that. You can join that and ask your questions, make sure you're clear on what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then we got classes coming up as well. We got the Club Millie rollout so that we can give you the whole plan. We're being open and honest about here's the plan, here's where we're going, so you can get on board and get to the point where you got you save and you're able to invest your $1,000, and then collectively we can kind of bring that together. So that's what's coming down the pipe. That's what we're doing at New Black Wall Street. That's what we're doing for the village. And it's all coming back down to powernomics. You're either going to work in your silo alone, or you're going to come together with other brothers and sisters. We're going to build this thing up. It's your choice. So, Lewis, I'll send you a link in just a second as soon as we get done with this, and that way, if you want to come to the sprint thing tonight, you can. Or if you sign up for the membership, you go ahead and do that, and then I'll go ahead and invite you because it'll be free for you. So either way, you just let me know what works for you. But anyway, this is ERDJ, certified financial educator from ERDJ Enterprises. Here's the New Black Wall Street Money and Power, man. And here's the deal, guys. It takes a village, and it starts with us. Let's build.
The New Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.